All right, I want to make a video talking about weak points in arm wrestling and how to bring them up with table time. And this idea for a video came to mind after talking with Christian from Compound Arm Wrestling team over in California. He was talking about how his pronation on the left is stronger than his pronation on the right, which I have a similar situation. My left has always had a stronger pronation than my right, and my right has been more of a hook style of arm wrestling, but mentally I've made the switch to in practice actually focus on my pronation, which basically means that once I have a cup, I'll give my cup up and I'll try and roll even with my wrist back. I'll try and pronate through my pronator even with my wrist back, because my cupping is usually my strongest point on my right arm. So I'm trying to work my weakest link that way. My pronation is strong and then I can cup whenever I have to at that point. But as long as my pronation is strong enough to get me in the match with the flat hands, that's one thing that's super important to work on, because in a tournament situation, you're gonna start with a flat hand, and to be able to pronate with a flat wrist, whether you're doing it like this or whether you're doing it like defensively out like this, the flat-handed pronation has been like the main thing I've been working on, because what I want in a start on the right arm is to be able to do what I do on the left, which is basically just start with the flat wrist, keep the wrist flat, pronate, use back pressure, and just drag all the way through, which on the right it would look something like this as well. But with table time, oftentimes you get used to a certain movement pattern or a certain way of arm wrestling, and then arm wrestling a different way, you kind of have to start from square zero. You have to start from the bottom and mentally get the movement pattern down and strengthen yourself up in a different position. For example, when I started arm wrestling, I would always start in practice like cupped in and then try and drag like this, and it wasn't until I got to a tournament scenario and had to straighten my wrist and realize, oh shit, I'm weak out here. If I get exposed out here, I can't even get into my strongest position. So now I want my strongest position to be in a ready-go position where my wrist is flat and I'm able to post up, pronate, and then from there, I mean, if I get the rise, then I can cup, and then from here I can just control the entire match with the high hooking style. So the main way to work on a weak point is to consciously make the decision to, in practice, in table time, work those positions that you know you're weaker at, even though you may be stronger going into a hook. Work your the positions that you're not as comfortable with, and pretty soon it'll become easier and easier, and you'll become more fluent to be able to go from your ace move to a different move, or even make a different move your strongest move. But overall, it just makes you more well-rounded working on your weak points, and that's been my main focus. I've been bringing that up on my right as well as bringing my hook up on my left, so that I'm very versatile on the left. So I just know I have a lot of gains that I've been making. My next goal in terms of arm wrestling weight training is a 100-pound wrist wrench. I want that within the next 2 weeks before I do another tournament. I'm looking to compete hopefully another month or so. We'll see, maybe in 3 weeks. But the main thing is I want to get a 100-pound wrist wrench. I've done 90 pounds, and basically I'm just pulling the wrist wrench and preventing it from opening my wrist. So I'm just using my back pressure and pulling back with the weight. And I've done 90 pounds for basically I kind of held it after I moved it. So, you know, a slight static with it. Today I was doing 75 pounds and I was doing a static of 20 seconds on the right, and on the left I got 28 seconds where I'm just holding it, and then I was kind of mimicking an arm wrestling motion slightly. These are kind of like micro movements, but this is with 75 pounds of pressure attacking my wrist with the wrist wrench. So once I can do 100 pounds on the wrist wrench, which would be a huge PR for me. I think about a year ago I was only able to do about 75 pounds as a max. Now I'm doing it for static holds for 20 to 30 seconds, which is huge. And if I can get to that 100 pound wrist wrench, I know my wrist is just iron, and it's gonna be super hard to top roll, especially if I have enough back pressure with a flat wrist to engage my pronation and my rise. And then if they try and roll out from there, I have a high position. I'm able to just cup down and control the match from there, which is gonna be completely lethal, because hand control is the best style in arm wrestling, in my opinion? Leave a comment. Do you think hand control is the best style? Personally, I think top roll and hand control is the smartest way to go. As Hermes Gasparini says, top roll is for smart people. Hook is, hook is just go in and test your frame, which there's a time and place for that too. But I think the smartest way to, especially have longevity in arm wrestling, is to have a super strong top roll and pronation, because it's not gonna risk as much elbow damage, for one, because you're using more of your muscles instead of your frame, instead of your bone and shoulder and everything. So the mission for 2023 is get an absolutely lethal top roll. I just wanted to make this video, kind of share my thoughts on some training philosophies, and give some advice as far as bringing up weak movements or weak styles in arm wrestling and what you can do to improve that. I hope this helps. Leave a comment if you have a suggestion for any future videos or what you thought about this, and thank you for watching.